Got here an old Bandmaster, not sure of the year yet. I'll be finding out once we take it out of the cabinet. It's got the original 2-conductor cable, and I see a bunch of old tubes inside, so it's very possible that no one's ever been inside it before. Let's find out. Well, someone has definitely been in here before me. There's some added 1/4-inch jacks that aren't drilled on center. Let's hope they haven't messed it up too much. Pick and post is the old sign there. Some Tolex coming loose. That can be fixed. Let's check the fuse before we take it out of the cabinet. Correct 2 amp, one of the old ones with a spring, so that's good. When the correct fuse is in one of these, I'm less likely to find horror shows inside. When I take this out of the cab, we'll take a look inside. Why is there always paint on old Fender amps? Who decides, hey, time to paint the living room. Bring in the amp, honey. There's a stamp on the inside that says 66. We'll get to that. The power and output transformers all have the 66 date code. The choke has 65. I've removed these screws but have not looked under the doghouse yet. Let's do that together. All right, stuck to it. It tells me it's probably original caps from that old bit of foam on the inside here. Yep. All right. Original caps that aren't leaking and spewing everywhere. They're still probably not any good, but at least they're not cauliflowering. Let me check the one there. We got a little bit of a bubble, tiny little bit on this one at the positive side, and little beginnings of one there on the positive side of this. I've already made sure that this is not doesn't have any voltage before I touched it. I don't show that in every video. I need to put a disclaimer at the beginning of the videos or something. But, you know, don't do what you see me do. Closed course, professional driver, etc., etc. So yeah, 58-year-old caps, time to replace them. So the inside is really clean and almost unmolested. We'll get to the molestation part in a moment. Everything's original throughout. It's got the solder joints made directly to the chassis. It's got the Kep's nuts, so there's no ground made through the hardware to come loose. Everything in this area is original. Same for the output tube sockets, including right here with the screen connection on this tube. Like the actual screen pin is here, but pin 6 on this tube socket has a notch in it. Probably broken from day one at the factory, but that solder has held all these years. So, you know, they kind of got lucky, but that's good. But, you know, nothing is ever perfect, even back in the good old days. The rest of the preamp and all the pots and input jacks and all that are completely 100% stock and quite lovely, though those electrolytics will get changed. Let me show you what change they have made, which is a head scratcher. All right, here on the rear panel, where they drill those 2 holes and they're not centered, they've got 2 jacks. And the grounds are tied together and go to this black wire, which goes over here and is connected to nothing. And they have a red wire here going to the positive on this jack, from positive to positive, and then a white wire going off to nothing. And I'm wondering if maybe this was supposed to be extension speaker jacks, though the original solder joints on the output jacks have not been touched, and this wire is ludicrously inadequate for use as speaker wire. So all of this does exactly nothing. At first I thought someone would put in a send and return to give this thing a bad effects loop before the phase inverter. No, that's not how these jacks were wired. Maybe they used to be wired that way a long time ago in the past, but all of the solder joints here in the phase inverter are factory original untouched. So this is where you would have inserted an effects loop were you to do that, but it's never been touched. What is noticeable here though, this resistor here has lifted out of this solder joint, which happens quite a bit on old Fenders as the board begins to flex. The horizontal joints often break, and this is one of the more common ones to break in any Fender. Now this is the 100 ohm resistor in this case. On other models it's 47 ohms. That goes from the tail of the phase inverter to ground. So right now this amp has no output. If I connect this, it will have an output. So I'm going to resolder this one thing and hook this amp up to my current limiter and then listen to it in its current state, no pun intended, and we'll all get a chance to hear what this sounds like with all the ancient caps, assuming it doesn't make a horrible noise or start to go into oscillation because the caps are failing. But We shall see. All right, all connected. Current limiter in place, powered on, in standby. Well, the light comes on. Not my current limiter light, but the actual front panel, which is loose. So I'll fix that too. I just won't touch that in the meantime. The nut's totally loose, but I have ways of remembering complicated technical things like righty-tighty. Let's see, are the old GE power tubes? Yeah, I got some orange glow there. All right, I got both channel volumes off. Let's take out a standby. That's not a good sound. That's not too bad. All right, so it's very, very dirty. That's not unexpected, but very, very, in very, very good physical condition. Just got old tubes and some noisy sockets, and getting the pots cleaned and the tube sockets cleaned and new electrolytics. This thing should be 1966 all over again. Seems to be kind of quiet overall, though. Let me plug a guitar in just for a quick estimation. Seems to have low gain. Yeah, so it's got pretty low gain. So no surprises, you know, it is what it is. A lot of noise in the pots, a lot of noise in the tube sockets. That's all to be expected. And the circuit gain will be a lot better once all the electrolytic caps have been changed out. They don't just leak and explode and hum and stuff, but as these things begin to fail, the gain stages that they're bypassing begin to have less, you guessed it, gain. So I'll call the owner, let him know what I have found, and this should be a very straightforward service. The kind of service that, you know, this amp is in such good condition, it's not really a restoration. Nothing has gone wrong, and I'll probably remove these. I can put some plugs there. He might want to leave these in place just because they are, you know, patinaed, kind of match the chassis, but a stupid, nonsensical thing there. They don't do a damn thing. Anyway, good place to end for now. Thanks for watching.